We were back. It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks. Actually, it's been 2 vigils. It's been 3 weeks.
That was our heat source last night.
Really? That's a good call. You know, it's also a better light.
Bluetooth connected.
It's not killing my eyes.
It's not so glaring.
Yeah.
Right, because it's got that hood over the top, and it still puts off the light. That's good.
What's the flag around there? That's the
Discharge that too.
that's got something going on. It's got the yellow green light. What's the red light supposed to include? There you go.
Test.
I don't know what I did. Well, whatever it was, you did it right the second
All right. Well, here we are. First of all, Northern Neck Regional Jail. Welcome, everybody. Sorry, we got a little rain shower there right as we were setting up, and it is December 1st, 2023. It is day 1058. Feels like 10,000 to all those people that we're here representing tonight. And so, as usual, we'll say a little prayer and pledge of allegiance and kick it off. Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful weather tonight. A little rain is good. Glad you stopped it. Thank you. Please, as always, give strength and guidance to the people that work in the Northern Neck Regional Jail and to all the people that pass through those walls, that they may have your light in the things that they do every single day and the decisions that they make. And let's hope that people come out of here one day in a better place. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We had somebody come by and cut down a couple trees.
All right, so just want to make sure we're live here. Appears to be.
Ski jacket. Pepsi.
All right, so as usual, our list of names. Thank you. That will help a lot. Thank you. Then I can just do this. All right, thank you. Alphabetically, individuals who've passed through these walls that we know of. Apologize to anybody that we've missed. Please step forward if we haven't. But Howard Adams, Zachary Alam, Eric Beauchesne, Tim Boehner, Nick Brockhoff, Jeffrey Brown, Mason Corson, Lucas Denny, Israel Easterday, Brandon Fellows, Todd Gardner, James Grant, Matthew Green, Kenneth Harrelson, Albuquerque Head, Brian Jackson, Adam Jackson, Justin Jersey, David Judd, Cash Kelly, Hosea Kenyon, Nick Lagarin, Samuel Lazar, Marcus Malley, Mark Mazza, Patrick McCoy, Jonathan Mellis, Matthew Miller, Robert Morse, Jonathan Munifo, Daryl Neely, Ethan Nordine, William Norwood, Michael Perkins, Dominic Pizzola, Mark Ponder, Ronnie Presley, Mahila Pryor, Chris Quaglin, Barry Ramey, Zach Rail, William Reed, Howard Richardson, Tom Robertson, Daniel Rodriguez, Jeffrey Sable, Ryan Samsel, Ronald Sandlin, Troy Sargent, Jeffrey Sills, Andrew Taki, Enrique Tario, Curtis Tate, Ricky Wilden, Shane Woods, and Kyle Young. Thank you so much. Well, I have another thing I want to read. So we're going to get some calls in again tonight. I think Chris Quaglin is taking on a job of handling these events for both us and DC. So there's a couple things I want to shout out first of all. Tomorrow at the Sheraton Hotel at the Richmond Airport, its title is, or theme is Against All Odds, which sounds like a 80s movie, but it's really it may seem like a daunting task, but together we can figure it out, is basically the theme. And there's some great speakers there. It's $40. It includes a box lunch. It's from 10 a.m. to 3:30. Go to vatp.org. That's vatp.org, and you can find it. You can get tickets online or show up. Ned Ryan, who is the founder and CEO of American Majority, is going to be a speaker. A woman named She Van Fleet, who is the author of Mao's America. She, as a little girl, lived through the horrors of the Chinese Cultural Revolution, emigrated to America, and 30 years later, she's seeing the same Marxist ideology destroying this country. So if there's ever anyone you could take a lesson from, it would be She Van Fleet. I'm going to try to go. I can't stay all day. I'm at least going to go in the morning, especially if it's rainy. And anybody wants to arrive from Northern Neck, let me know. Maurice, if the rain stops and you want to get this other one out, I just haven't.
How come all your papers are printed? It's like you've been caught in the rain while you're reading stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to make a quick. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just trying to get this all out. This is I'm an ex-follower. I'm really proud of Elon. I tell you what, I loved it when just the other day I saw him speaking. He was being interviewed somewhere on stage, and they were asking him about, whether he loses advertising over his stance, and he says basically, F them. I don't care if they want to leave because they don't want to, then the judge is the American people. The American people are the judge. So, I got to say, the more and more that I hear from him, I think he's definitely wearing a white hat. So anyway, on X, and I don't even say the former name because it's an insult to him, or not an insult to him, but an insult to the prior people. This is from a lady named Brianna Morello. Brianna Morello, yep. And she's talking about how J6 defendants are being sent to prisons that are over 1,000 miles away from their homes. According to the First Step Act, which is, by the way, something that Donald Trump passed in 2018, we'll read about that too, defendants should be within 500 miles of their homes. The Bureau of Prisons could claim that they can't accommodate someone due to limited beds, but we know that's false and easy to prove. Why would these individuals be sent to prisons over 1,000 miles away from their homes? We know that's happening for all these people. The punishment is never ending. The federal government wants to make sure that no one visits you. Travel is just another expense these J6 families will have to endure on top of the legal fees, communications expenses, commissary, and more. You're going to hear more about that. These J6ers cannot speak out. If they do, they risk being sent to solitary confinement. You can look up 18 U.S. Code 3621, which is regarding the imprisonment of a convicted person, and it talks about the First Step Act in there. I just highly recommend you looking up the First Step Act. I can't read it. There's several pages. I'm not going to try it tonight here, but I'm going to go next to one of our stalwart folks that could not come tonight, but has some updates to provide to us that are related to the First Step Act, and we'll see how much we can get in.
John Haynes.
Hey, John, it's Tom Jeffries. We got you on the live stream. How are you doing?
All right.
That I told you about with the First Step Act, and I thought you might want to talk about Senate Bill 581 a little bit.
Yeah, sure. In fact, I was actually going over the report when you called. For anybody who's not real familiar with this, the Virginia State Assembly set up a work group to try to look into controlling costs to inmates. And it's broken into two bills. One is the Senate bill, which is number 581. And then there's also the House bill, which is 1053. And the basic purpose of this study group was to work on the reduction or elimination of fees to inmates and detainees. Because as I think you all know, it's a huge drain on their families. Some of them can't afford it and have to go without medical treatment or food or proper clothing. So this group was basically formed to try to figure out ways to reduce or eliminate these fees in regional correctional facilities or local facilities. Now, one thing that's interesting, there were different groups involved, and three were law enforcement agencies, which was the Sheriff's Association of Virginia. I believe the second was the Sheriff of Norfolk. And the third was our own beloved Ted Hull, superintendent of NNRJ. So he was right in the thick of it. In fact, he wrote a very detailed dissenting letter, which is, I believe, on page 74 of the report. But Tom, I know you've got that report, and you can disseminate it at your discretion. It's a public report. I mean, so anyway, but it's 97 pages in full, and it's very fascinating. Now, you can see by going through the report that most of these agencies and facilities did not cooperate. They dragged their feet. For instance, there are 59 facilities in Virginia. Only 28 of the 59 even submitted the survey response. And that's one thing I'm going to follow up on to see if NNRJ was one of the 28 that did. Now, since Hull wrote a dissenting letter, I'm assuming, but here again, I've learned with Mr. Hull, don't ever assume much of anything. Also, a lot of the information sent, especially on the phone providers, was so heavily redacted that they couldn't really figure out what was going on. So basically what they did, they refused to provide information. One meeting, they couldn't even get a quorum. Then they complained about the lack of information and participation.
John, just want to add on what you just said. It's so heavily redacted that I didn't print out those pages because my printer wouldn't have had enough ink. It was so black.
Yeah, it was really, they were just taunting them. But we went through the motions, but we'll make sure you don't get any information.
Right.
So it's the same type of crap you see up in these Senate committees. It's all political. And it's really disgusting, but I think on pages 8 and 9, they have a list of all 59 jails, and they have a summary of how much they spend on inmates versus how much they bring in commissary. Now, unfortunately, it did not include communications and other charges they make, so this probably is not the total expense. But out of those 59 jails, we were the fourth most expensive. Albemarle was $11.56 per day, Alexandria 1003, Culpeper 1269, and we were 968. So we were the fourth most expensive out of the 59. And you might also note that the other three are in much higher areas as far as average incomes. So if you adjust for that, we probably are the most expensive in the state. And during this last year, I think this was the last year they had, was like the 2020 figures. But anyway, just off of commissary, Northern Neck Regional Jail made $1,558,183. So if you add on the communications fees and other things, you can see where they came up with the figure that Ted Hull's been using, which is $1.7 million. That's what they're basically saying they generate off of these fees that should be, in my mind, illegal. In fact, the state average is 485, so we're about twice what the average facility spends. Also, as far as what they spend on inmates, the state average is 22 cents a day per inmate. Ours is zero. That I did not misspeak. Zero. So anyway, that's just kind of like a little summary. I am going to check and see if they actually submitted the questionnaire, and I do already have a copy of the letter of dissent, and I'd welcome you all to read it. I'm sure the attorney actually wrote it. I don't think Hall wrote it. But anyway, it's a pretty disgusting situation. They're reopening the committee this year. But what is obvious right away is that law enforcement and these jail associations and superintendents, almost none of them are cooperating in any meaningful way. So that's where you guys all come in. In the report, it gives the names of the different legislatures. This was sponsored by Joe Morrissey. I think he may be out of Henrico. I'm not sure about that, but he's the sponsor. And I think what we need to do is start petitioning these people, and also the ones like Morrissey that are advocating it, provide them with some of the evidence that we've all been amassing. I know I've got boxes full of it. I'm sure Tom does, and some of the rest of you. So anyway, that would probably be helpful. And by the way, Morrissey was actually in Northern Neck Regional Jail a few years ago, which I think is probably what prompted him to propose this legislation. Now, I'll tell you, people like Morrissey that are well known are much better treated than the average inmates or detainees, much better. When I can't think of the guy's name, Paul Manafort, when he was in there, he got the kid gloves treatment because they're very sophisticated. They're not going to pull this stuff on somebody who's got a voice, has a platform to speak out. They're very devious. So anyway, that's pretty much what's going on with that. If anybody has any questions or suggestions. No? Okay.
No, hang on. We just we're switching the mic. Maurice was holding it for me while I was getting my papers organized. What did you said was 0 per day versus? Repeat that statistic again.
Okay. We spend 0 per day on the inmates. The state average is only 22 cents per day, but we spend 0.
I don't even understand how you can do anything for 22 cents a day. I'm not sure what.
That's because of what they're collecting.
All I can guess is that's paying for ancillary programs like the GED or different things that, religious groups, things like that to help fund that.
Okay.
And a lot of that stuff's done by volunteers, so that's one reason they don't have to spend more. But still, that's ridiculous. These poor people, and only spending 22 cents of it on them.
Wow.
And there are also letters in this study from family members talking how this has devastated their family finances. This is punishing not only the inmates, but also their families. And it's really pretty disgusting when you dig into it.
Well, it absolutely is, John. And tell you what, thank you again for sending that to me. We both talked about this, how it was on our list to look it up. I've had the SB 581 information. You've had it. And we just never really got to it. And luckily, someone else sent it our way. And you can see it's from the end of 2022. But it's damning information that's been in there right in front of us all along.
Yeah, and I'm just thankful that somebody tracked it down because I had not gotten to it yet either. And this is a big opportunity to really get something meaningful done.
Agreed. John, thanks so much for giving us an update on that. Do you have anything else? Because we're going to...
Just one other real quick thing, because I know you're going to have some detainees calling. I think you've seen the letter from Barry Ramey that I'm going to publish it in the upcoming paper. I think Cheryl may have read it at the last vigil, from what I understand. I've been in contact with his fiance. As soon as the letter came to light, all his privileges were taken away. He's now in solitary confinement. And evidently, the Marshal Service or one of them called and complained about it. They had heard him, I guess, talking at the vigil, the D.C. vigil. I guess he called in, and they claimed he did it without permission, which is not true. But anyway, I'll be publishing the whole letter, and I think Cheryl probably has a copy of it. And I think, Tom, if I have not sent it to you yet, I meant to, but if not, I will.
No, thank you, John. I've got it. I actually got it through another source as well, so it's out there. That's really good. That's out there.
Yeah. So anyway, his wife is asking that people call him Marco Rubio. I guess that's his representative in Florida. But anyway, I'll keep the group posted on what's going on. But again, they are allowed by the Constitution. They still have their First Amendment, but as you can see, every time they exercise it, they're being punished. So just more of the same.
Yes, indeed. Thanks, John, so much for calling, and appreciate all the work that you're doing. And we'll let you go so we can get ready for these calls.
All right. God bless all of you.
God bless you too.
Bye.
To follow up on the Barry Ramey letter, I heard about that at the one of the DC vigils. I think they were talking about it on Sunday night. That's when it was received. And so I have copies of it. I sent it out to a few of the board members of NNP, and we'll be also passing around the letter on the next NNP meeting, the first Tuesday in December. I think that's the 4th of December? 5th of December. And so everybody can see it when I pass it around on that day. Also, a couple news flashes from the DC vigil. They mentioned a few things, that they got 2 or 3 more inmates or detainees recently. And one of them, his name is Dominic Xavier Box. My New York accent comes out, sorry. And his nickname is Xbox, because his middle initial X and his last name is Box. And his Give, Send, Go is also kind of clever, since his first name is Dominic, and his Give, Send, Go is Free Dom, capital D-O-M, J6, Free Dom J6. His birthday is December 17th, so it's coming up. And the next guy is Taylor Jonatakis, Johnatakis. He was his first day was November 28th, which was I think last week, a couple days ago or whatever. I don't know. That was his first day in DC, and that's when his birthday was, December 28th. And they also said that they got salt and pepper now at the DC jail.
Condiments? Yes.
Condiments, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Condiments.
So let's see. There was also a fundraiser for Barry Ramey it's called For Honey. Tom had sent that out to a lot of people last week. My question to Tom, which I haven't gotten to, is how much of the proceeds to the honey goes to Barry Ramey's cause?
I have no idea, but there a lot of people use them. Mel Hawley promotes them. I know a lot of people promote that company.
So it's $20 per bottle. The bottle's shaped like Donald Trump's head, and a portion, which we don't know how much, goes to Barry Ramey for the purchase of these honey. That's it.
Great Christmas present for those that need a little sweetening. How about that? That's what I think is cool. Thanks, Cheryl. Appreciate it.
There was there was one gentleman, I believe he was from Washington State. He's actually he was one of the first guys arrested, but he's relatively new to DC because he was out on his own recognizance for a while. And he's very well educated as far as how the system works, and he was pointing out that his judge actually said hands are tied. He can only do what the legislature says that he can do in this particular case, and it's the legislature. My presumption, I don't know for a fact because I haven't dug into it, is that it's the previous session's legislature that set the stage law-wise as to how the judges are going to go when they do these sentences. They don't have the latitude that they used to specific to the J6ers, which is interesting. I'd like to explore that a little bit more just to find out the nuts and bolts, but if the legislature is the one that set and we didn't see it happen, that's something that we need to dig into, I think.
Are you talking about the DC judges' hands being, well, I do know this from sitting in,
Particular judge.
yeah,
I don't remember the name.
listening to the sentences there, it's very clear that they're all kind of, like getting together and, well, you did this, you did that, and they use each other's cases all the time to rely on as they sentence. So they're very careful not to go too far out of it. But there was one judge who rejected the 1512C charge on at least one individual, threw that out. So 1512C is the important one that's going, hopefully, to the Supreme Court. I believe it's going to go next week to at least be on, I'm not sure, it's just the hearing portion of it, whether they're going to be discussing it or not. So at least it made it that far, so that's positive news. And that could have a huge impact, because the same thing that they're trying to get President Trump for, which is obstruction of an official proceeding. And it was never meant for that. It was meant for, it was set up during the financial, because people were lying to Congress, and so they said, no, we can't have this. Let's make severe penalties if you lie to Congress and falsify documents and obstruct an official proceeding. That's been bastardized, to use that word like it's really meant. It's been taken to the extreme from anything that ever was, and there's so many different cases of that. It's way out of context.
So I think maybe a little bit of a rollback, because when I heard him speaking the other night about how a particular judge was befuddled because of the hands being tied, and apparently there was a discussion between this guy and the judge on this topic, and it strikes me that most people are out there living their lives day to day and not really paying attention to what happens in the House and the Senate.
Or anywhere.
Or anywhere for that matter, because we're busy trying to pay bills, and something may have gotten by us, is what I'm thinking. And the sad part is that if that happened, the current session isn't really doing anything to change it. So it's just,
Yeah. The one thing that I think is very positive is the tapes that are coming out. They continue to come out. These, if you can't help it, I'm on X quite a bit. That's where I get a lot of my information and follow certain people, not everybody in the world. And I only really stick to the things that I'm, I think that's what's the beauty of the platform. I'm kind of a geek, or not a geek. I'm a Luddite. I'm not somebody who really does a lot of that stuff, but I've gotten to a point where I'm retweeting a lot of information, and that group of us is starting to grow. I'm starting to kind of, it's like Desiree, Barry's girlfriend. So we got a minute. Maybe I'll pull that thing up and play that.
yeah.
Maurice does a lot of research also, and he's on Truth, Donald Trump's Truth. And he sent a post out, or I guess it's a post out, who is it? Gosh, Dr. Malone had responded to him directly.
Yeah,
so
that was interesting.
because he had posted something on Dr. Malone's Truth page, and he had responded to you directly.
Yeah, so I use both Truth Social and X, pretty much the same way that I don't really post that often, but I'll scroll through and see what kind of headlines there are from, again, a relatively small group of folks. I guess we call them the new news media. but there's several of them out there. And
Citizen journalists.
Citizen journalists, that's right. We are the news now. And it's kind of amazing the things that are going on out there, but I've also seen a lot of stuff that's not quite right. So you got to be careful who you follow, but you know how the deal works.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. Your current balance is $60.39. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hello. Hey, is this Tom?
It's Tom. Who's there?
Hey, this is Jared Owens. I'm from Farmington, Missouri, and I'm here in D.C.
Hey, Jared.
In jail.
Yeah, well,
Hey.
sorry about that part, but nice to meet you.
Hey, it's nice to meet you too. Yeah, Chris recruited me to come on here and get you guys filled in a little bit on what's going on, I guess, from my perspective anyway. So, how's it going? Can I answer for you?
Tell me, is it true what they say about Missouri? I mean, is it really the show me state, you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's how, we use that a lot. We use that a lot. They're going to try to show me some stuff. Court coming up on Thursday, but, yeah, I don't think I'm good for any of it, but that's going around in here. But we've had some pretty exciting news come through. I'm sure you guys have heard about the lieutenant, the former Capitol Police Lieutenant, let's see, what's his name?
Tarek Johnson.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, that's really got everybody pumped up. I guess he's been saying this for a while, but he got Tom Fenton involved, and he's a beast. I really like Tom with Judicial Watch.
Yeah, he is a beast. He's probably spends about 4 hours in the gym every day. I mean, he's built like a tank, but he is tenacious, man.
Oh man, that's just hearing, Tom's on the cause. That's so exciting. And then my wife sent me some stuff about Clay Higgins. I guess he was talking to Newsmax, saying that he believes that he might have a little bit of proof that there was at least 200 undercover agents on July 6th, which is what we've been saying all along. I mean, it was just, peace and love and one big happy family, and all of a sudden there's just a whole bunch of chaos. So that never sat right with me. So I'm glad that it's coming to the front that we're not crazy, but all of us have been called crazy for a lot of different reasons for a long time. So for it.
Yeah, but the video that's popping out really quite a bit now is the more and more of the stuff where they started throwing the flashbangs and all that. I mean, I don't care who you are. If you really see that crowd and how peaceful it was, and then all of a sudden, that's big stuff.
Oh my gosh, yeah, just everywhere. I talk to my wife a lot. I'm like, well, pretty crazy obstacle course. You're just hanging out. Next thing you know, bombs are going off everywhere and getting crushed in the crowd, and people are slinging batons at you and spraying mace, and oh yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot of people alive that are trained to go from 0 to 60 like that. And I know a lot of the folks I was around, were just kind of just simple people, grandmas and grandpas and people that love their country and stuff. They weren't built for all that. So, but it's cool that side of the story is coming out. It took them a long time, but I don't think they can put it back in the can now.
No, you're right. That's the genie's out of the bottle, and I've been praying for sunshine this year.
It's exciting. You know, they just picked me up a month ago, so I'm one of the newer guys in here. But they were watching me for 2 years, they said. So I guess they're just watching me, you know, raise my kids and plant a pretty good garden, but go to work and then go to church on Sunday. Somehow they come up with the funding to keep that going for a couple of years.
Well, one of the things that people don't realize is, for instance, all the U.S. The air marshals that are usually on the airplanes, they're all pulled off of that duty. They're down on the southern border. I mean, this is how crazy it is in terms of what they do with the law enforcement and the narrative they want to push right now.
Oh yeah. So who's up there on the plane?
Nobody. That's the point.
Just took a couple of flights and they had some kind of staff. I don't know what they were up to, but there's some of the ruder marshals I ran into. A lot of the marshals I met were very professional, and I mean, you know, that's made up a lot of a lot of folks that have served, and I don't know, you know, get to meet a lot of these different types that you only hear about.
Yeah.
When you get thrown into something like this, it's like, oh geez. But no, I mean, we've got a lot of hope. Trying to, you know, just everybody's trying to keep each other's spirits lifted. And, we've got believers in here, and we're praying, and we know that God's going before us and clearing the way, and we know that no matter what they try to do, you know, God can use it for good. So we've got all that going for us.
You know, that's a really great comment, because we say that all the time about this jail where we're standing outside right now. It's people like you that knew this was wrong, that when they went through that system, that if you're religious or not, it was like God peeled back the layers and people could see what the heck is going on.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's going to use it to open folks' eyes up, and you know, and what you guys have been able to get accomplished down there, and what they're getting accomplished up here, to use this notoriety to make it better for all the people. And well, in theory, we hope that's the way it's going. Who knows? As soon as the attention comes off of them, they might go back to their old ways. But I don't know. I tell you what, whenever I just got out of the hole Monday, I've been down there for 8 days, and that was the worst of it. That was, you know, standing water in the floor, and mice running under the door, and eating bologna sandwiches all the time. And I had a permanent cough because of the mold and the mildew. You could just smell it in the air. But I got in here, and man, all these guys just welcomed me with love, and they just brought me food, and here's a good toothbrush, here's a good bar of soap, and I think I don't know, I tell you what, it's been awesome just being around like-minded people. So
that's great. Glad to hear that. And you guys get a lot. You get a lot of strength from one another.
Oh man, I'm telling you, yeah. I'm getting to know everybody a little bit. You know, it's quite a big crowd, and really, on a situation like this, you kind of try to protect yourself and, you know, not give up too many details. You hear all the horror stories about, you know, people in here might be working, trying to get a better deal on their case or whatnot. But, you know, I just took the attitude just coming here, and if it ain't already been on the news, I ain't talking about it. So.
Right.
Oh man, they had me on the news just I don't know, it wasn't even 24 hours before or since I first went to court. It had all the evidence that was showed in court already on the news. It's crazy. I don't know how. Never seen anything like it. My lawyer's like, this is the craziest thing I ever seen. nothing's going down like a normal criminal case, like you would expect a criminal case to go. But I told her, I just kind of feel like that's not the point of it. It's not the point for justice. It's the point of getting it on the TV screen and getting into people's brains, so caring a little bit whenever it comes time to vote again. That's all they're thinking about. But it looks like we got some surprises in store with all this stuff coming up with Officer Johnson, and then stuff coming through with Rep Higgins, and well, actually, I just saw that Trump, I guess he truced out, maybe it's today or yesterday, he said the cops should be charged and the protesters should be freed.
Nice. I did not see that. I don't follow that, but that's great.
Yeah, I was just looking on the news, just kind of browsing to see what I could see. He said, Trump said the cops should be charged and the protesters should be freed. This is why the Uniparty didn't want the videos coming out. And I tell you what a time to be alive, man. I mean, my heart goes out to the guys that, paved the way for us. But I was talking with a sergeant down in the hole. He said they expect 5,000 more cases to come through this jail. That's incredible. I'm not sure the statute of limitations on a lot of these things, but I don't know if it's 5 or more years, but 5,000 cases is more than they've done up to this point. So I don't know if it's just like the death throes of the establishment, or if it's all just a bunch of jail gossip. But I don't know. It's pretty interesting to me.
I've seen data where they had found funding to go after another 1,000. Now, I think there's around 1,200 right now that have been charged. So, yeah, what we're seeing is people that their charges are less. So some of them didn't even go inside the Capitol. Can you talk about what they charged you with? If not, that's cool. I just wanted to ask you if you're comfortable with it.
Oh, yeah, well, I don't know. They say I assaulted somebody, and, well, that ain't in me at all. So from all I can tell, they just finding folks and sticking the charges to them. I hear that they've got these templates, like the one they got me on or whatever. A guy called it the Big 8. I don't know what that is. He had done some pro se work, and I guess they got little names for the little packages that they set up for everybody. But he says a lot of people are getting like identical charges all the way down through there, and I guess they're just kind of, tweaking it to fit each case. But I haven't even really seen the evidence against me yet. Just what was shown early on, and all that stuff, I guess, is on the internet and the news and everywhere else now. So I don't know what they got going on, but I know I didn't hurt anybody, and I don't really know what they're trying to say about me.
Well, that's
kind of snatched me up and pinned all this stuff on me, and here I am. Flew around the country. I've been in Oklahoma and St. Louis and my hometown and another little holding area. Moved all over.
Jared, tell us your last name. Tell us your last name again, because we didn't get to write it down.
Oh, my name is Jared, Jared. Owen, Owens. Yeah.
Thanks, Jared. And do you have Give, Send, Go or anything like that you want to publicize?
Yeah, I do. I don't know what I did with it. Oh, wait. Here we go. My wife set it up. I tell you what, I got an awesome wife. I got an awesome wife and a 1-year-old baby. It was his birthday when they picked me up, man. I think that was just a psychological deal. I had driven back from work, jumped in the shower, and was getting out. My in-laws were there. And I get out of the shower, and the house is full of cops. I'm like, hey, you guys here for the party, or what's the deal? Anyway, I went to jail. But long story long,
You have 1 minute remaining.
Oh, I got 1 minute remaining. My Gibson Go is GBARV Golf Bravo Alpha Romeo Victor. Anything folks want to help with, I'll go to my wife and helping her make everything run good. But I thank you for having me on, and I believe Chris has got somebody else lined up. I'll give you a call here in a little bit.
Jared, thanks a lot. Pleasure meeting you, and God bless you, okay? And keep your hopes and spirits up.
Thank you for all you're doing. All right, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Good night.
Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Well, Peter.
So I didn't know what Terrence Johnson had done.
That's his mic. Say it again.
I had no idea what Terrence Johnson had.
I had no idea what Tarek Johnson had done.
So you're just looking it up?
I'm just now looking it up. And of course, you know, the New York Times says that he's feeding into right-wing extremist conspiracy theories.
I don't know. I've been following him on X for a long time here. I've been talking about him out here. So yeah, he's got a lot of good intel.
I need to pay more attention to him because sometimes I get pulled in too many directions.
Yeah, we all do. But yeah, so the long and short of it is he's the guy. He had a Trump hat on. He was trying to help just, you know, control things and so on. But he was basically the one who should have been taking the command of what to do, how to respond, to evacuate. Yogananda Pittman was the person who's the assistant chief of police. This chief of police, Sund, was busy making phone calls. We've talked about all this. He's been the one making phone calls trying to get help to come in. Yogananda Pittman took the briefings, the security briefings, and sat on the information and didn't disseminate it to the people like Tarek and the rest of them that needed to know that. And so they didn't have the resources that they needed. And it was a complete setup, as we're seeing from more and more of these videos that come out of cops saying, we were set up, we were set up, we were set up. Everybody was set up, both the cops and the public.
Yeah, and apparently he's releasing some material, or has already released. I can't tell yet.
He's
But-
going to, yeah.
Yeah.
The material he's going to release is, I believe, 12 hours of radio traffic. He's been talking about that. If you can take the time to listen to the radio traffic back and forth between him and others speaking back and forth to command, a whole story emerges of what was going on, which is they were all looking the other way and leaving them all out there just to deal with this mass of humanity.
They were set up in a life-threatening situation.
Yeah, we talked about how I think it was him that told me, or that it reported, that I learned from, that the helmets were gathered up. Remember we were talking about that, which they say, you know, you have a stamp inside your helmet, it needs an inspection, and you got to go in and get it inspected. And so rather than going through that gradual process of turning them over, they made them all come in at once. Just on January 4th, they collected 30 or 40 helmets. You see a bunch of people with bike helmets on, you know. That's probably their next best thing that they had because they didn't have their actual helmets. Now, who set that up? Yogananda Pittman. Why? To see if there could be more blood.
Uh-huh. Exactly. A wonderful time we live in.
So again, Jared, last name? Owens. Great guy, really great. We can look up the Give, Send, Go. Everybody knows how to look up Give, Send, Go at this point, I hope.
What were we talking about? Oh, we were
going to play Osprey Sensei's little ad. You got to go online, Osprey_Sensei, and look it up for yourself because there's video I can't play.
You're not going to get it.
I don't have X. I got banned permanently.
Alright, full of questions, this is Raw Truth with J6's Dogs of Freedom. J6 footage is on slow-mo leaked, and our patriots are prison hostages. The coming across the border. The G-pluses are coming for your children. Faster than Kamala's tackles kill the last brain cells of the will-cost slave protester generation. Lighten up America faster than a crack pipe on the Hunter Biden laptop. Free my J6er Dad Barry from prison today with Ultra MAGA honey. You and your friends deserve a damn glimmer of hope this Christmas with Ultra MAGA honey that looks like Trump under the Christmas tree this year.
I gotta get that.
An inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. Your current balance is $58.69. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
60 something and 39 cents was the first one.
Hello.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, good. This is Tom. Who's there?
This is Tate, Curtis Tate.
Hey, Tate. Yeah, I thought I might have heard it. Sometimes I don't get the first, the announcement. But how you doing tonight?
Doing well, doing well. How's it going on your all's end?
It's good. The weather's not too bad. We had a little bit of drizzle when we got started, but it's not a bad temperature. It's a good night out here.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's one of my kind of nights right there. Yeah, not a whole lot going on over here. Approaching the new weekend, and I try to make it a habit to get on with you guys every Friday and check in with you guys. You have any new J6ers over there?
Not that we know of. I mean, again, they're not coming out and telling us about it, but not that we know of.
Yeah, well, we got a few new guys in here. We actually had a guy who got released today. Christy, he's going home. I think he might have actually already checked out. So he got time served and he's on his way out. So I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
New things happening over here. My family is trying to get up here to visit me December 22nd, but I can't seem to get on the same page with the staff here in the gulag. I ask probably every day if they've gotten confirmation. My family's been calling up here repeatedly trying to get a hold of the caseworker, and really to no avail. My family's coming from about 10, 11 hours away, and that's been a little stressful. Trying to get all that organized and figured out. And I just figured out today that these people in here are making like some really, really good money. And I'm like, man, for people who really don't do a whole lot in their job, they make a lot of money. So, good for them. Kudos for them.
Yeah, but it's like the federal government, though. I used to work, and the guys would tell me, I did contracting in federal buildings years and years ago, and they would tell me, Tom, slow down. You're making us look bad. Don't walk so fast, stuff like that. Yeah. We have a status note to keep up over here. It's funny. So back in 2021, I got back home from January 6th, so I got home the 7th. And on the 13th, the FBI showed up, swarmed my house, held me outside, and ended up, long story short, taking my phone, no warrant, nothing, under the guise of the Patriot Act. Took my phone and was gone. Never saw him again. They returned my phone to my lawyer probably a week and a half, 2 weeks later. And I was freaking out. I came out on the FBI's information list after that, seeking information on me. And I was freaking out. I was like, you just reach a whole new level of paranoia when the FBI's on your butt. So I talked to a friend of mine who worked in the federal government. I was like, I think they're really about to arrest me. They're keeping people in the hole. I don't know what's about to happen. He was like, well, don't worry about it. They're probably not coming for you right now. It'll take them a long time to build a case on you.
And after a year or two, I was like, they're done with me. They're, you know, that's a thing of the past. And right about as I got done, you know, with that thought process and the worry of them coming and getting me, they show up on my doorstep. I'm like, man, if that's not an FBI timing right there, I don't know what is. And it seems it's just as slow all the way down to the correctional officer level.
That's awful to hear.
You know, there's also these other lists that I'm just learning about. I forget what they're called, but like a gray list. It's anybody who traveled into the D.C. area at all the weekend of January 6th. I don't know if you guys have heard about that, but they've been watching everybody, whether they were to meet family or on business or for vacation. It's crazy. I did not know that. Yep.
No, I didn't know that as well. Yeah, they do have all these lists that I haven't even heard about. There's one of the brothers in here told me about a list that's up. I guess it's like a terrorist watch list or whatnot, but it has all of our information. All the guys in here has all of our information, when we were picked up, what we were arrested for, where we were sent. And it's just, man, I mean, just without any notion on our part, they will just put us all the way out there. They'll say whatever they want about us, whether it's true or not, whether we've been convicted of these charges or not. You know, they will just put whatever out there that they want and leave it to public opinion. And, you know, the positive on all this, though, is, you know, my family, my friends, even distant friends who I haven't talked to in a while who have actually sent mail for me and stuff, are starting to see this for what it is. That is a this, but, you know, slowly people are starting to come around to see the truth and be a little bit more vocal about what's going on.
Yeah, you're right about that, and I keep saying it. The sunshine is happening here. People are starting to see it. You know, we just got to talk to Jared a bit ago. I mean, that guy's great, positive attitude. So appreciative of people like the rest of you taking. You know, Tate, it's happening. People are starting to see what actually went on that day.
They are, and it's a good thing. You know, people are starting to exercise their voice, exercise their freedom of speech, that we still do, believe it or not, have in this country. You know, and it's not really the very vocal, loud, small minority of people that put themselves out there the most, that really do the most damage to the country. It's the people, and I shouldn't say damage to the country, but who will aid in the losing end of the country, which we're nowhere near. But it's good people who see what's going on and who are too scared to speak up. You know, we got to start, you know, really speaking out against what's happening, no matter the consequences. You know, inch by inch, you know, they'll gain the ground they want, and we'll have full-blown transgenderism. We'll have, you know, indoctrination in the schools. You know, parents showing up to school protesting will be labeled insurrectionists. You'll have much more of this going on. We just have to keep speaking up and being out there and using our voice.
Absolutely agree with you on that, and you know, I think that's just it does take people to get up and get involved, and we just got to keep hitting them with this information. It's with this information, not disinformation. I always do that.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. And really, when I came in here at first, I was really convicted because, you know, back in January, you know, I had relapsed after 7 years of being clean and sober. And the pressure was January 6th, and then just problems in my household kind of unraveling. You know, I attempted suicide, and, you know, I shot myself in the chest. As graphic as that is, I pulled through it, and, you know, I came to in the hospital. You know, I pray to God for His forgiveness, and it's been, case closed ever since. I've followed God. I've tried to live His will, do His bidding, and I've had a very full, grateful life since then. And that's been, almost a year now. But I was really convicted when I got arrested. Like, was I wrong in this? Like, just really back and forth. And I read a little bit of my Bible every day. Jesus, in the face of wrong, in the face of evil and wrongdoing, Jesus was out there flipping tables. He was going to the synagogues flipping tables. And I've talked to a couple pastors, and I'm fully at peace with the decisions I made. And I stood up for what I believe was right, along with many others who did. And, and what little motto I have is just never give an inch. And, I feel good in saying that, and I feel good in living it out and what I'm doing. And, I have pretty much good days in here. Bad moment here and there, but good days. I'm surrounded by good people. I have great family. I have supporters like you all standing out there for me. And, I continue being a little bit of light in the darkness that's going on, and trying to spread that wherever possible.
Well, that's awesome, and thank you for that, because we all need that, and everybody needs to remember that you can turn life around if you start to think about, and especially if you get the guidance from God. And a lot of people don't have it, but it's I'm not a very highly godly religious person, but I definitely feel His hand on all of this stuff, and it just made me realize that this is what I'm supposed to be doing at this particular point in time. That's as simple as that to me.
Well said.
Yeah. I was lost for so many years. I just felt directionless and purposeless, and I felt like I didn't have meaning in my life. And I don't think I've heard people say that's the real millennial way to think. I think everybody wants to have some fulfillment in their life. They want to feel like they're living on the right side, of life. And I finally found that, and it's spreading the word of God, it's spreading the word of being a living testimony to Him and what He's done for me. And no matter where I'm at, no matter what circumstance I'm in, I keep in stride with that will and that direction. And I found those missing pieces in my life. And this just, if I really sit here and start dwelling on I haven't got books that my family sent to me a month and a half ago, that my mom still asks me about. I'm like, we're just got to wave the white flag on this. She's like, what? She's like, if God wanted somebody else to have them, maybe this. I was like, that's the right attitude. However, leave me to my own devices for 5 minutes, leave me, unattended, or get into some old pattern of thinking, I'll start getting pretty negative and, start getting pretty angry about it. But you got to roll with the punches. You got to pick your battles, and, no matter what, just stay positive and, don't let them see you sweat.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I see, and I've heard that from so many of you guys, is the positive attitudes you've got. And I know that being around one another helps build that. I know everybody doesn't quite get along, and your people, everybody's got different personalities, all that. But I think there's a lot of love and a lot of strength that's being you guys are helping prop each other up.
Oh yeah, we for sure are. I have some gnarly workouts every single day with one of my good buddies in here. We put in work. We leave it all on the floor, every single day. If I can control this sports to mouth behavior I got going on, I'll be living good. But that and just joking around with the guys, and even some of the CEOs are cool. Helping out the new guys when they come in, giving back and making them feel welcome. It's really easy to stay busy and, stay in good spirits here. But, once you start to isolate yourself and,
You have 1 minute remaining.
Well, there it is. She's a real buzzkill. She's a buzzkill, I tell you what. But guys, thank you all so much for the opportunity to speak to you guys, and thank you for listening and being out there and being present. If not before, I look forward to talking to y'all next weekend.
Sounds great, Tate. God bless you. Have a good night.
God bless you all. Good night.
Thank you for using Global.
Do we need a battery?
Yeah.
I got a battery. I got a whole light.
Use coupon code FREEBERRY at MakeHoneyGreatAgain.com and get my dad the f*** home, because while you stuff your face at home this year toasting on what might be your last days of freedom in America, we gotta pay the freaking appeals lawyer. Be a fucking patriot. Donate direct at GiveSendGo.com/BarryRamey or use coupon code FREEBERRY. MakeHoneyGreatAgain.com will use a portion of their proceeds to help our legal fees. Get raw with raw truth and raw honey, ultra MAGA style. Get honey that looks like Trump for all your friends, and don't forget, Joe Biden. This is raw truth from J60 Dogs of Freedom.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm gonna let it play out. You know what would be cool is one of those big gas flame heaters. You know, the ones with the vertical flame.
Uh-huh.
Hey, Lisa, Annette, thank you for being here.
Oh, what was that? What's that all about? Why did it go out? Maybe it was a warning. 5-minute warning.
All right, so you don't need this?
No, well, it's probably gonna.
It's there.
Who knows? Why did it go out?
I don't know, but it'd be nice if we could point it back down again. Where it was.
We need to fix it. This is Tom's one.
Huh?
This is your
That's a gear light.
I don't think I have this one on the thing on the bottom.
Yeah, you do.
I do?
Yes.
Oh, okay, never mind. How come just
Thing on the bottom.
So,
it's only one speed though.
it's only one what?
It's not a high or low.
Oh, okay. I don't know about that. I'm not worried about it.
I just thought, I was just high and low, and that's really nothing.
I think it has on though. It's just how hard you touch it.
That could very well be.
Looks like we might have a little break here.
And it kind of looks like there is going to be some more rain coming this way.
Okay. I'd put that other battery in.
Yeah, I'll fix it.
Hello. This is a prepaid debit call from
Brandon Fellows.
Oh, Brandon.
an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, this call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hey, Brandon.
Hello, this is Brandon Fellows.
Hey, Brandon, how are you? This is Tom.
I'm doing all right. How are you guys?
We're doing well. It's a decent night out here. It's not too chilly and it's not raining.
Awesome. Yeah, so I'm glad to hear you guys are still out there, still staying strong. I like asking, first, like, if there's any good news, if you recall since the last time I called, anything else good going on over there?
There's a lot of good stuff going on over here. We just got our hands on a report that was mandated by the Virginia Senate. It's called Senate Bill 580 per Senate Bill 581. It's a report on the regional jails, and it's full of information about how badly they are bilking everybody that came through this facility, and all the jails do it with the commissary and the phone calls, facts and figures. It's just really full of great information. So there's that, and we're going in front of the local county boards next month, at least 2 of the 4 counties that support this jail, to protest their idea of wanting to have juveniles held in this Northern Neck Regional Jail. We're not going to let that happen.
Yeah, that would be rough. That's awesome. Hey, I had a question actually coming to my mind as you were talking. You guys like have some sort of site where anybody can like reference a lot of the stuff that that's against the jail, like has been documented, or things that are happening, to where somebody could go in and if they were bringing a case, for instance, against them. Do you guys have some sort of collection of these things, or do we contact anybody?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first I would go, if people are just trying to learn about it, just in general, if you're talking friends and family kind of stuff, I'd send them to NN Sentinel, that's SENTINEL, like the Sentinel Soldier, .com, nnsentinel.com. That's John Haynes' newspaper, which has got wealth of information on what's going on regarding the jail itself. And then as far as, if there's particular stuff, mounds of evidence, John's got a lot of stuff. His email address, I can give that to you, and then I can give you mine as well.
Okay, yeah, real quick. Let me grab. I got this stuff right here. I know John's thing, so I got that in my head. Yeah, I'll take his email, though.
Do you have John's email address?
I think I only have, in my Lewisburg papers, I have his number. I don't remember having his email necessarily.
All right, I'm going to look that up, but we're looking that up to make sure we give you the right one. But here is the email address for me at the Patriots. It's NP, like Northern Neck Patriots, dash help, HELP, at outlook.com.
Awesome.
And that's the email address I use for core links and stuff like that. So here is John Haynes. It's very simple. It's John Haynes, HAYNES .NNsentinel at gmail.com.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, and John's been helping a lot of attorneys. We were talking about that as I was driving over here tonight, that, this is, there's like that information on the Senate bill, the report. There's so much that people can do, just regular citizens who have time, they want to help, they want to do something. There's so much information out there that we can just, get our hands on and chase down, and it's available to us. So that's really, really important. And he said that that's one of the best things we can do to help you guys, because it's so expensive for your attorneys to spend all the time hiring people to do research that regular citizens like us out here can do for you, okay? So I remember one guy was trying to find footage of where he was stopping a protester from breaking a window. So I was helping to go track that stuff down. We can do stuff like that for you.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I personally, I've had Global Discovery for a while, and I actually ended up calculating the amount of time that I've seen. I haven't had it the whole time, but when I have had it, I've viewed it like my life depended on it, because it kind of did. And I've officially viewed just over 1% of all the Global Discovery videos, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when I think they said that just Global Discovery alone takes a person a year and a half of no sleep, just you sit there continuously doing nothing else. I mean, it's a significant amount. And just in that 1% of stuff, I mean, I've found tons of crazy stuff. Officers, saying, it's pretty clear we've been set up. I've seen Capitol Police officers inside the building saying, hey, our watch commanders told us to stand down. We're just going to let them do what they want. Yeah, I mean, really good stuff. And have a whole list of everything I've calculated, but not talk to me. You guys are doing that. Thank you.
Yeah.
In reference to, so I'll update you on basically the short story of what's going on with me. I was supposed to have sentencing the other day, but they gave me a PSR report, which, by the way, they said they wanted 33 months from me, which, because I don't have any violent crimes, no criminal history, even with the enhancements of not only this ridiculous charge of interrupting a proceeding, which is a maximum of 20 years, they're asking for 33 months. And when you calculate the 65% for First Step Act, I'm about like 10 plus months over my guidelines already. And my judge still won't let me out. My family's upset because I said, hey, well, I need to, correct these lies because it matters for the appeal. They've got like 150 different points, or supposed factual statements regarding the pre-trial stage, the trial stage, and basically it's up to me to correct it. And most of them are incorrect, and it's going to take me a long time to correct it. But I haven't been able to contact the court because I don't have an intermediary standby counsel. It's just been very irritating, but I mean, that was kind of a good sign that, I'm way past my guidelines. I kind of knew that, but it's officially on that piece of paper. So that's good. And the only annoying thing is that they're trying to also hammer me with 3 years of intense probation after I've already endured, hell. I mean, granted, there's been some times of nice, where it's been more relaxed inside jail. But, I mean, I have definitely, whether it be Northern Neck or the D.C. jail early on, gone through some intense time, all for, taking 2 hits of weed and then passing it to somebody else inside the Capitol after police officers made it seem like I was welcome inside. So it's just really irritating. But, I've seen a lot of the good news lately coming from Congress, coming from, statements also from Trump and, it just seems like the tide just continues to turn, and seems like this is aging more like wine than milk. So, I got some faith that we might be looking at some good times ahead.
I like your optimism, and I like the saying. I never heard that. That's great.
Oh, you never heard that?
Never heard that.
Oh, okay.
What state?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
great.
awesome.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff coming out, and we were talking about that earlier. Just the footage that people are seeing for the first time, but also, Tarek Johnson is one that's just been doing great stuff. Steve Baker, he was one of the 6 journalists that he got access to the 41,000 hours. He's continuing to push stuff out that he's had and been waiting for the right time. These guys are living on the edge with, the FBI's been to his house I don't know how many times, but you just got to keep going.
Yeah, no, I mean, day by day. I mean, I was reading this thing. I forget what. I think it was Newsweek. I don't know, but it was a Capitol police officer 2 days ago. It was, and it said that he was going to be releasing stuff that helped show evidence that this was a setup. And he said it was terrible what's happening to us. And I just remember reading his quote. He was like, "I am a lion, and I'm gonna help out my cubs, which are the people that are suffering the January 6th defendants." I'm like, oh, this is a Capitol police officer saying this. This is pretty cool. It was a cool statement. I'm not doing it any justice with the way that I'm saying it. I mean, it was 2 days ago. I think it was Newsweek, but the Capitol police officer said that he talked to his lawyer about bringing out evidence to show that this was a setup and that we were basically taken advantage of. And then obviously Trump also continually making good statements. Hopefully he gets in. But regardless, I mean, there's lots of good stuff coming out. I mean, who knows how much longer we have to continue this on, but I mean, I'm just glad, though I think it's going to age well, it's still ridiculous because, I mean, the amount of people that have, not been able to hold out, whether it be to age or won't be able to see the end of this potentially because of their age. Some of these people that were arrested were, 70, 80 years old, or the people that just, couldn't deal with the pressure and committed suicide over this. I mean, it's no laughing matter. I just wish this wasn't like, I just am irritated in this country that we have a lot of stuff, like for instance Benghazi. There's no actual accountability at the higher levels, and I just wish somebody would actually pay for this. That should, they really people should actually pay for what they've done to both to us and also the American people, whether it be from a financial level or from a persecution level. Really irritating.
Yeah, well, people do need to be held personally accountable for the decisions that they make, and they can't use the story of I was just following orders or so on. I mean, that's what happened in Nuremberg, and this just cannot stand. There has to be personal responsibility for things that people do in this world. I believe that firmly, and we've got to hold that to that. We can't just look the other way. So we got to hold them to it, and we got to make sure they don't make those kinds of decisions in the first place. So there's got to be deterrence, because if people never get held their feet to the fire, they're going to continue to do things that injure you and me and everybody else because they don't really care.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm going to be honest right now. Like, it is tough to I feel like we have a microscope on us, and these fake news people, they'll twist anything you say to make you look bad, even if you don't say anything bad. But I will say the past 3 years, I mean, it is definitely difficult to have this kind of turn of cheek mentality, because I just feel like after a while it's kind of like Stockholm syndrome. Like I'm honest, I'm human. I'm sitting here, whether it be over at Northern Neck and the guards attack me, or whether it be the United States government trying to continually ruin my life. It is tough to turn the cheek aside and say, oh yeah, it's cool. I'm not going to get mad. Like, I'm going to be 100% serious right now. Like, I am actually genuinely concerned with how some people will be reacting to the way that they've been treated. Like, and then because of all this, like, I'm actually deeply concerned. I think we got a decent amount of January 6th defendants, good business owners, military veterans, and they seem like they don't like to take a lot of crap, and I am concerned. I mean, it's really terrible what's happened to people, but yeah, there's another effect I think that might be a potential, and it's kind of scary to me.
Well, I think
kind of darker side of this.
Yeah, I'm sure, and there's that, but they say that the best vengeance is let's turn the justice back around on them and use the justice system the way it was meant to be and hold people accountable to the laws of this country.
Yeah. No, so it's tough, especially with the church services in here. But my judge has said, missing church for 1 week causes a harm for which there's no remedy in Capitol Hill versus Bowser, which is the mayor of D.C. But then for January 6th defendants, and including Northern Neck, he just continues like, oh, no, it's fine. You guys don't deserve that, even though convicted prisoners in prison get it, and pretrial detainees who are supposed to have more rights than them don't get it. But I still have it ingrained in my mind, at least.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Not always in my spirit that we're supposed to give vengeance to God, but man, it's tough sometimes, especially with these crappy, corrupt people, some of which are at the Northern Neck jail. But definitely a challenge.
Well, listen, I think you're right. We just, all we can do is keep speaking the truth and putting the facts out there, and I think they have to speak for themselves. Here's my saying to you: sunshine is the best antiseptic.
Yes, I know. Keep a nice positive. Try to remain positive on it. Which, honestly, with all the good news, it's good. And with people like you guys, it's also easier. It's also easier to remain positive. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, Brandon. God bless you. Have a good night.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, you too. All right, bye.
Bye.
I can't move.
Thank you for using.
Brandon Fellows. You heard him say about how he was attacked by the guards in the Northern Neck Regional Jail. So just one more of a list of people that, we're not making this stuff up.
No, we're not.
So
And, realistically, they're not either, because the consequences for making it up would be worse.
okay. The calls for tonight so far was Jared Owens, Curtis Tate, Brandon Fellows.
Good. Tom was just saying, another person that's been through Northern Neck Regional Jail talking about how the guards would attack him, and we're not making this stuff up. We've got plenty of evidence that we've all seen here, and if you think about it, the consequences for making it up would be horrendous for these guys. They're not going to just arbitrarily go out there and say, yeah, this guy, they're not going to make accusations, because that's not going to go well for them. So I'm starting to think that even the people they're saying did this are being quiet about it, because, go ahead.
I think that's a theme that we hit on often out here, is that these guys have the bravery, the courage, the understanding of this country, and the understanding of their rights, that when they were rounded up, this horror stories of being rounded up on his child's first birthday party and taken in, that's intimidation tactics, is all that is. And to do that. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. But
well, absolutely, it was all planned. You know that they probably sat there and said, okay, whose birthday's up close? Oh, the youngest daughter. That's the one. That's the day we'll go pick that person up. But these guys, they're true-blooded Americans. We don't go around making false accusations, as a matter of course. So when these guys are saying that things happened here, it needs to be taken seriously. And I know that there's officials in various capacities that blow it off, but I have to believe that they know that it's all true.
Well, I have to believe that they. I've been thinking through this. I mean, there's probably like the 12 different steps of denial, this, that, and the other thing. But at some point, I hope that they do take it seriously, because they need to.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hey, your current balance is $56.90. Facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are you?
Doing good. You're doing double duty tonight, huh?
I am. I'm running the show from now on, I guess. And I you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, God bless you, and thank you for doing it.
Doing a good job.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's going to be a lot once you add in. I don't know, Cowboy Logic. We're doing Cowboy Logic yet, or still doing it? I don't know. But hey, Cowboy Logic, if you're listening, someone give that.
Oh no! Did we lose you?
He's still there.
We're still here too, in case you can hear us. We don't hear you.
Yeah, we don't hear you right now.
Still there.
You don't hear me? I don't.
You're
What about now?
Yep, you're back.
What about now?
Yeah, I hear you. It's a little muffled. There you go. You're better.
Oh man, hold on. Now I don't hear you. What about now?
Yeah, we hear you. Can you hear us? All right. Can you hear us?
Hey, you guys there?
Yep, we're here. We're here.
Having some problems.
Can you hear us now? Hey. Okay.
They probably just want to muffle him.
Yeah.
You can hear me, and I think you can. I think I hear you very, very faintly saying that you can hear me.
Yep, we hear you.
Yep. All right, you can hear me. I can't hear you. Eventually, I'm going to flip out headset. Of course, my headset died. I think it was conspiracy, and I think it was the DC jail because we had a town hall meeting today, and of course I stood up and I went all out. Thank you, Frank. Appreciate it. So I went all out with it, and because there were a lot of things that aren't going on, and just give me 1 second. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we hear you. Can you hear
Hello?
me? Yeah, we're here.
It's definitely not a headset issue, and this is. All right, can you hear me now?
Yep, we hear you just fine. Just fine.
Okay, perfect. Okay. I fixed it. So anyway, we had sorry about that. You're putting out fires all over this thing, doing this, this double vigil, and then all of a sudden you sit down and talk, and it's like your headset isn't working. It worked before, but anyway. So yeah, we had a town hall, and I brought up a lot of things that, these guys don't understand that are very, very important. They're like, well, yeah, but that affects you more than me. No, it doesn't. It affects you, because I'm not doing this for me. Like I understand that we're all screwed, and I'm not even doing it for J6ers at this point. I mean, I'll bring it up, but I didn't do what I did at Northern Neck for J6ers. If anyone listening can't understand anything else, understand this. I didn't do what I did. I was stuck at Northern Neck, right? And that's fine. And that goes with the same thing that goes with these people that are sitting here that I'm talking to. They might have done this thing in the beginning for J6ers, but it became way bigger than this. And anyone who says otherwise isn't telling you the truth. Because what we have done so far has gone so much bigger than J6ers. It's not even about us anymore. It's about America. It was never, just like J6 was, I'll go one step further, just like J6 wasn't about Trump. Now, yeah, he had something to do with it. Of course he did. He held the rally, right? But I mean, listen, some of these guys might sit here and say, hey, listen, I'm sitting in jail because of Trump. I'm not sitting in jail because of Trump. I'm sitting in jail because of tyrannical government. You're sitting in jail because you stood up. You're sitting in jail because, yeah, Trump might have been the guy, but he was only straw that broke the camel's back. Why do you think there was a lot of older people, sitting up there saying enough's enough? Because they knew that they screwed up. They knew that they let it go enough. Okay, and they weren't. And all of a sudden, you snap your fingers, and all of a sudden, listen, I snapped my fingers yesterday, and I was getting arrested. I was tortured throughout the whole time, but it was yesterday. Okay, looking back, it was yesterday. I still look back. I mean, shit, I feel bad for y'all. Y'all are sending us money. We're in here. Now, yeah, we're having it. Someone say that we're having it harder than you. Others would say that y'all are having it harder than us. But I can say thank you for y'all sending money and for y'all getting us commissary and everything else. I can say thank you for y'all for being out there and being our voice. Because guess what? Without y'all, we're nothing.
And,
so, go ahead.
well, Chris, I think you nailed it right there, because it's gotten to the point that if they can do this to you and to anybody else who stood up, you're right. It's nothing to do with Trump. It's about standing up for an election. Let's just leave it at that. Standing up for an election that just seemed like it was completely wrong, and people were coming to have their voices heard and saying, you all need to look into this. That's all anybody wanted, was to have hearings and have them look into it and hold off on the certification. That's all that anybody was trying to do. They weren't trying to take over the House, or the Senate. So you nailed it. So people have to stand up. If you don't stand up, people, it's mouths.
That's it. That's it. And people don't understand. They said, oh, well, you tried to ruin our democracy. First thing, constitutional republic. All right? Even though it's been dumbed down and become less than a constitutional republic than what our forefathers intended, okay? That's number one. Number two is that people say, oh, well, the election was fair and square. There was a recount. Listen, a recount doesn't matter. What don't you understand? You need to look into this. It's now just getting looked into. It's now just the Democrat versus the Democrat. And correct me if I'm wrong here, right? Fact check me. Because I can't fact check myself, and I have fact checked everything. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Was the election, nothing was really looked into, not with a fine-tooth comb. They just said, well, we don't have the authority to because there's no precedent. Well, now there is a precedent, right? Look at 2,000 mules. Right? Just take the fact, forget about the voting machines and this and that. Look at 2,000 mules. Look at all those people who are dropping off all those ballots. Right? Take that into account. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm going to be the first person. Prove to me. Sit me down and prove to me that I'm wrong. A lot of it, listen, I'll even say it against my J6er, my fellow J6ers. I don't have them, but some of these guys cannot ever admit that they are wrong. You say, hey, listen, X, Y, and Z, A, B, C, you're wrong. I'll be the first one to say, you know what, you're right. I'm wrong, you're right. My grandfather taught me that. I won my first argument. And he would say just like that. You're right. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. You're right.
I love it.
And that's what he would say. He would say, and he would always say, he would say, I'm wrong first. I believe. You have to ask my mom. I think it was I'm wrong first. I'm wrong. You're right. Because he goes, sometimes you can both be right. So you can't say you're right. You can't start with that. Stop the argument. Stop the argument right when it's at. When you're wrong, you're wrong. That's it. I'm wrong, you're right. Okay? Done. I have no problem admitting that. So let's have a solid conversation. I've been saying for 2.5 years. That this has been a setup. I don't care about what group did this and what group did that. How about this? Where were all the FBI agents? Okay, I'm not saying in the crowd. I know they were in the crowd. But I'm talking about where were they in the chat rooms? Where were they, saying, hey, wouldn't it be a good idea if? Hey, wouldn't it be this? And wouldn't be this? And this is how we do this. And this is how we do that. And on further on, then they said, oh, okay. And it's Whitmore. It's the Michigan governor kidnapping times 1,000.
Yes.
Okay, it's the same guy who was brought from Michigan back to D.C. Fact check me on that. Someone said it, someone else said it, and someone else said it. Fact check me on that.
We were both, Maurice and I. Yeah, Maurice and I both have seen that too, and support what you just said. Absolutely.
So it's that. But what I'm saying is the FBI, and this is ABC, actually, I did say this on here once before, but no one's paying attention because now it's out in the open. Now everyone's going to pay attention. August of 21, I was sitting in jail. I still remember the cell. I don't know the pod number. I would have to, or UC, I don't know. Anyway, there's like 6,500 people in Essex County. But I still remember if I could walk there. You know what I mean? That's how my brain works. I could walk there from the front. So I was sitting there, and ABC came on, and they said, "Hey, unlike we're getting new information here, and unlike what the FBI has been saying for this whole time, the FBI, we have screenshots and emails that were going back to DC FBI or New York FBI, one of the two. I think it was DC." But they said there was this map that was sent out, and they said, "Oh, well, there's this map, and you got to meet over here at 11 o'clock, and everyone should meet there, and we're expecting 500 people, or so and so, right?" And it was in a Telegram chat or a Facebook chat or something, right? So it was sent into the FBI, and this is before January 6th. And then this person said, "Hey, listen, guys, you need to check this out. Check this screenshot out. You need to check this out." And the FBI said, "Hey, listen, we're good."
You have 1 minute remaining.
Fast forward, a buddy of mine is special ops, or used to be special ops, ex-special ops, I should say. And one of his Afghanistan buddies or Iraq buddies is FBI, and he goes, "Dude," "I told you not to go," and my buddy goes, "Yeah, thank God I didn't." And I get on three-way with these guys, and he goes, "Listen, man, we've been sending stuff, quote, up the ladder, end quote, for months. We've been sending it up the ladder, and nothing ever comes back. It hasn't been this big, like this. This old head said the last time this happened that this amount was 9/11.
Wow.
It's coming out. And these are all things that I wanted to bring up into court and everything else.
Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Chris Quaglin.
Hero.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I remember some of those things he was talking about while I was typing it.
That's right. You did so much of that.
Stuff that maybe in a different conversation we can talk about, because there's things that to me are obvious that nobody's talking about.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many things that get touched on these vigils from these guys that it's just amazing. Hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in tonight. And
Stay tuned for the anthem, hopefully.
yeah, we've got 50. Yeah, just if you haven't, check in the NN Sentinel, nnsentinel.com, the newspaper that we put out, that John puts out, that all of our J6 information is in there every month. Another explosive article coming up this month.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from
James Grant.
I'm feeling like we gotta go to that Tea-Party thing tomorrow.
an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press. Your current balance is $55.29. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hey, James, how are you tonight?
Hey, Tom, and all of what? Northern Virginia, Northeastern Virginia. I forget.
Northern
There's
Neck.
a name for it. Northern Neck, but
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
The Northern Neck region. I said there was something else you guys said. Maybe not.
Well,
Like the news said. I don't know. But hello, hello, Virginia, the Commonwealth.
There you
The,
go. There you go.
yeah. Commonwealth doesn't connotate the best, but Virginia is for lovers. I believe that's Judge State motto. That's a good one, though. It's one of the more appreciated ones. I mean, it spawned a lot more interest. Like I was going to go to school in Alabama. Alabama's, I gotta say, it's not very good. The state motto for Alabama is, I think it's the heart of Dixie. Hold on, here's Quagland. They have to tell you at 8:54 when he's cut. Okay, Quagland's saying at 8:54 we need to cut ties.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. So I guess, yeah.
You know why?
Yeah.
Starting to rain again. Woo.
Okay, well, yeah, anyways, just interrupt, yeah, super rude. Anyways,
Yeah, really.
yeah, you guys, what were we talking about now, Tom? It just completely threw me off.
You were talking about state mottos and
Alabama.
Right, yeah, Alabama's is the heart of Dixie, and I don't think it's a very good one. Like, Florida's is good, the Sunshine State, but the Virginia's for lovers is a good one.
Yeah.
And Virginia's definitely an interesting state. You know, you guys don't have, professional sports teams, but you kind of do, all in the area. And Virginia's a huge state, and so many presidents are from Virginia.
yes, indeed.
That is an interesting point.
But yeah, it's the birthplace of a lot of presidents, and really populous state.
Yep. And right up the road is a little town called Leedstown, Virginia. And in 1766, it was sort of the precursor. It was like the Stamp Act. It was a Stamp Act type of thing. They rebelled against the British Crown for, trying to tax them, tax their paper basically. So that happened right up the road, like 10 years before some other things.
And then there's the Lost Colony. I think. Well, there's the Lost Colony and then Jamestown. I think Jamestown obviously is Virginia.
Yeah.
My ex lived on in the Outer Banks, which I guess was the Lost Colony. So what? Jamestown was successful, and this one wasn't, right?
Yeah, Jamestown was sort of successful, all because of John Smith, who was out trading with the Indians and going all over the Chesapeake and up and down the Potomac River, the James River, the Rappahannock River, all of it, doing all this exploring and trading with the Indians. So that's the only way he kept those people alive in Jamestown.
And oysters.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. And we had a lot of great people in my time in Virginia. It was kind of terrible at Northern Neck, and I hate to think of it. Scooter had a cup the other day, and it was the same exact cup because we're in jail and the cups are the same. But it was the same cup that he had at Northern Neck, and I tripped out for a second. Like, can you not use that cup around me anymore? So that was really weird.
I would ask him. I mean, why did you bring it from there? I don't know. I mean, unless they're hard to come by, I guess maybe.
Yeah, if you get a cup in here, we have to drink out of peanut butter jars. And the nutrition in the DC jail, it has its good parts and bad parts, but the nutrition and the food here is so bad. And it's like, you guys can't just hook us up because it's really, God, I fully believe we're getting kicked in the butt pretty, I don't want to say too much, but, you could at least give us fair nutrition. And we're here for a long time. I mean, I've been locked up for almost 2 years now. Some of these guys, 3 years. You can't feed someone really bad food for 3 years. That's a long period of their life. This isn't temporary anymore. I'm spending years in here. You got to give me at least some kind of access to some real nutrition. Which, boy, the stuff on commissary is just all junk food. And I know we're in jail, but I mean, this is long term, and I really would like some healthier options. I mean, they don't have our options are really limited. There's not many healthy things. The healthiest thing you get is like a pouch of soggy mackerel, which I guess it's fairly healthy, but I'm not in love with eating anything that's in a pouch like that. And just long term, it would be really nice to have healthier options. Maybe some kind of I don't know, something else. But this is going to be a huge chunk of my life, and I feel like that's something we could have pushed for. But the entire time I was locked up in Virginia, I loved the people from Virginia. It was just the situation I was in and the institution, but man, you guys have given us so much support from out there, and still being out there, and I found people, I'm from Pennsylvania, I lived in North Carolina, but it's kind of a mix of both in Virginia, but I think I think it's more so a touch of the Southern charm. And you guys are, on the whole, very friendly, and I felt, other than Northern Neck and the institutional stuff they had going on, I felt like the nursing staff, and you guys have been tremendous. But, as a whole, it was a good experience, and, there's people I still talk to this day from Virginia. I saw Mel Hawley from Virginia. She was, she was down there at the visit today. Boy, everyone wants to interrupt me today and talk to me today. I don't know what it is that says as the third person, but yeah, no, saw her down there in the visit. I visited with a Chinese patriot named Lily today, and just so much support from Virginia. And kind of, you guys are right next to this, and everything that happens in DC kind of ends up hitting you guys, shortly after. And I think in that way, Virginia is a good thermometer for the rest of the country. And I think if Virginia can go red, that would be massive in this next election. If you guys could be a red state, that would be it. I think that would be indicative of the election, and I think Trump would handily win if as a bellwether he won Virginia, and I'm hoping he did. Someone else. So that's the 1 minute. They're telling me for 1 minute, and I'm sorry I got interrupted so many times. It really messed up my flow.
No.
Someone else. And it's like, I get the message, like 1 minute, get off. It's like, that's all you had to say, 1 minute, I heard you. But, let me get off the phone, let me get you guys set up. Thank you guys so much, Tom.
All right.
All you guys, I appreciate it.
All right,
and,
thanks,
yeah.
Good night.
Yeah, take care.
Thank you for using.
I don't know why they couldn't just stay on, but they must have something a certain number of tablets.
Watch, and they all get the same amount of time, and they would have been cut off, and they wouldn't have had the chance to connect back. That's what would have happened.
Okay.
They were avoiding dirty.
Yeah, I was thinking they would time it so they could just finish out the last call with that, but that's cool. That's cool. The rain seemed to hold up. Hold back.
The rain's got some balls, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit of rain, but not as bad as it could have been. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Pass this on, pass it around to everybody. People that don't know anything about J6, you guys are the light. You're going to pass it, get it out to everybody you can. It's starting to rain a little bit. We're going to do the anthem and wrap it up.
Turn this off.
Maurice, can you wrap up?
Yeah. I don't need this one.
Yeah, it's just, I think we better. It seemed like it was coming on a little bit more there.
So this thing with Officer Johnson, I've been tracking a little bit with him over time, but just the past couple of days, in particular on the 30th of November, he's like dropping bombs.
Okay, here comes the anthem.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press. Your current balance is $54.38. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hey, Tom, this is Jared Owens again.
Hey, Jared.
We're calling with the anthem, so we're getting that ready. Oh, man. Yeah, it's a little like herding kittens, so we're getting everybody together.
Herding kittens?
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
I got him on here, so. Hey. Yeah, he's on here. So. Yeah, just you can hold it up and then when we do the.
1-minute warning, so.
Who yells the 1 minute?
Sable? I'm not sure. I'm still learning names, yeah. So, yeah, he's my bud, though. We've been visiting a little bit. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for staying by, and you have a wonderful, wonderful Friday night, and God bless you, and drive safe. And if you're going to the bar, having a drink, have one for me.
God bless you. Good night.
God bless you guys. Good night.
Global Telling.
I was doing marathon vigils last week, or this week, I guess. I must have sang the anthem about 10 times in one day. It was fun. I was by myself. Maurice wasn't around, so nobody was there to hear my
Well, you can record it on
voice.
you can record it on. So that's my battery, I think, and you
Yes.
you got your thing. So okay, I'll come back.
Yeah, I guess we need light a little bit, right?
Thank you all, Patriots. Good night. Have a good weekend.